And we're back.
Happy Monday, everybody. It's going to drop on a Monday, right?
Yeah. Happy Monday. We never say that.
Yeah. Happy Monday.
We never.
Sometimes
think
it drops on Sunday when you're really on your game. Sometimes it goes up early.
Usually I do it on Sunday. Yeah. It's my ritual, my Sunday ritual for the week. I watch football, do the podcast, but I never think about the fact people are probably listening to this on Monday and that they would like a happy Monday. So good job by you, Johnny.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'm very smart.
In case, Mondays mean nothing to me as a comedian. And I think I've talked about this before, but I hate holidays. Like those Monday holidays are the worst for me because I just want everyone
when everyone has off.
I want people to be working and I want them to be like answering emails. I don't like days where it's like, oh no, it's
you hate Martin Luther King Jr.
I hate Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Let's be clear. I hate Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Do not clip this and make me look bad.
Right.
Taken out of context.
We don't want to get canceled.
No, but you know what? Because when you're a comedian, you don't care,
Yeah.
Well, and I guess when your kids are in school, it's even worse probably for you because then you're like, oh God, the kids are going to be home all day, and then
it's totally awful.
Yeah.
Well, see, I'm at least lucky because Erin's a teacher, so generally she'll have off too. But some days it's like staff days where the kids have off and she doesn't, and those days suck.
Yeah. So less holidays. Get back to work, America.
Yeah, geez, you're lazy.
Happy Monday. I'm glad you're at work. If you're listening to this.
So how's your week been, Andrew?
Pretty good, I'm trying to remember. I was in Bend, Oregon on Saturday. If anybody's listening to this that came to the show, thank you. We sold it out.
Yeah, nice.
With a day or two in advance to the point where they were like, we should have done a second show because they were turning people away. And that's always like in your head, you think that's a cool thing, like, oh, it's past. Sorry, should have bought tickets early. Yeah. People get very like, I don't know. These people were very upset and angry. It was kind of killing some of the early vibe. People who didn't have tickets. No, just strangers. But they were just showing up. My fans, Johnny.
Right.
No, but
the Slaterites,
the Slaterheads were showing up without tickets and just like really pissed off that they couldn't. They were like really mad, and I was like, oh. And then I was like kind of getting not awkward, but just some interesting vibes.
Why was it getting awkward for you? Were you like standing out?
Well, I was out there for a second. I was out there for just walking back and forth, trying to I was going to set up my camera, and you had to, from the green room, you had to walk through the lobby area to get to the showroom. Hearing these interactions. So 2 shows next time if I come to Bend.
Well, when you brought that up, I thought, yeah, you feel like, oh, we should have had another. But then it could have been one packed show and one show of 9 people, or 2 half full shows.
But it's funny because it's like it's all perspective, because when you're taking all the ticket sales, you're like, yeah, I'll do a 20-person show.
I know.
All of a sudden, I have more of a club owner sort of mindset. I was like, why would we do a late show on a yeah, let's do the late show.
Because 4 people paid. Now get out there.
Yeah. So I get it. But that was my thinking. I was like, I don't want to add a late show and then have it be like really embarrassingly small. So.
Right. Leave them wanting more.
But I want to do more. I want to do more of those shows. I really think that's it's very fulfilling. It's very it feels so much better after a show like that, because you all the responsibility was on you, and then you get all the like adulation, you get all So
All the
when it works
money.
out, it's so much better than like when it's sold out at a comedy club and you're getting the same money either way.
Yeah.
Definitely a better feeling.
Yeah. How was that? I mean, was it a ton of work? Did you do a lot of
No,
Facebook,
so
like
I've
any
got it
paid
down.
boosts?
I do a little. I do just the. Well, I got a little lucky too because there was a local guy in Bend named Eric Oren. He's a comedian, and he happened to be living there. And he reached out to me on Instagram when he saw I was coming, and wanted to open. And then he's very funny, which is great. But also he's on the radio there.
Oh,
So that
nice.
was nice. And you never know like how much affects what or who comes from what, but I'm sure it didn't hurt. And then like I also run like these ads, on like Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
That seems to be the more, one guy came up to me after the show. This is how powerful these like how much the phones have taken over our lives. Guy came up to me, wanted to buy a DVD, you know.
Right. Sure.
Oh,
Sure.
that
The
was great too
official.
because normally I'm very self-deprecating about selling the DVDs afterward. I'm like, I don't these stupid things. Take them whatever
Yeah.
you want to do with them. But I was like, you guys have to buy them because Bend, Oregon has the last blockbuster in the United States of America. Did you know that? That's a little trivia for you. They
Okay.
still have a blockbuster video operating. It's the only one left. So like if anybody's gonna buy a DVD, it has to be you people
Oh, I see. You're saying
because they're
there is
still
demand for DVDs
supporting
since there's,
Blockbuster.
yeah.
They have to have DVD players.
Yeah. Oh, good call. And did they buy?
Yeah, yeah, fair amount. You never
Let
know, and
me
they're
ask you
just
this.
buying them ironically, but
Well, yeah, we don't, who cares?
who gives
Do
a shit?
you have a lot left? How many do you have left, do you think?
Just a giant box and a half, I'd say.
Okay.
Probably like 300, I would say. 300 DVDs.
Well,
Anybody
that'll last you.
that'll last you. That'll last me till the next technological sea change where
Yeah.
it's like I don't know if it goes from Betamax, VHS, DVD, and now what would you call this? Like streaming or whatever? Whatever the next one is
Yeah.
after streaming, DVD, then I'll still have DVDs. And maybe they'll be a little cooler at that point. They'll be more like retro or whatever. So,
Well, you skipped laser discs.
oh, laser discs, of course. Yes.
Yeah.
What is the difference? Why is Laserdisc? That seems like the exact same technology as DVD.
Yeah, I don't know the specifics. I mean, I think you have to like flip it over halfway through the movie. Is it like giant, like it's just not compressed as much?
Oh, so it's
Because
just
they're
bigger.
the sides of a record.
Yeah. But that's just funny to me that it's like literally it's just a small someone just looked at a laser disc as like, what if
Let's
it
make
was
it
just
smaller.
like this?
Yeah, because CDs came out before laser discs. So what?
No, no,
No,
no. Laser
you
discs
don't
were
think?
before CDs. Yeah.
Oh,
Because then there was laser disc that was like the cassette tape era. Because wasn't
oh
laser discs like before VHSs?
no, laser
No.
discs was before DVDs, but
Oh.
after VHS. Why would
What
they
a,
go from Laserdisc to VHS?
well, because you don't have to flip it over halfway through. Although when you had a good ass movie was when you'd buy. I
Two
remember like
tapes?
Braveheart or whatever, and there was two
Yeah,
VHSs in it. You're like, oh
that's
yeah,
like Titanic too. Yeah,
yeah. That was the greatest.
yeah, that's when not necessarily a good movie, but you got a
You
long
got a long movie.
movie.
When you're a kid, you just want a long movie.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta tell you this. Speaking of memory lane, my son has his first sleepover. He's in third grade. He has first sleepover coming up this
Wow,
weekend for his buddy's birthday party. That's pretty
that's
exciting.
exciting. Is he
I just found that
nervous?
out today. My wife I haven't even talked to him about it because he was asleep before. Aaron just told me about it. And because I'll be out of town. Oh, shoot, I don't remember where I am. But I was gonna plug it and then I forgot. I know I'm in Woodstock, Illinois Thursday, but That's nope. Both of them are too late.
No.
Both of them are already
Happy
happening.
Monday. Remember, Johnny.
Happy
Happy
Monday.
Monday,
Yeah.
everybody.
So when you're listening to this, he already had his sleepover, but that's it's his buddy's birthday. I just thought, oh man, because he's sleeping over at his buddy's with another buddy, so it's like the three of them. That's gonna be
Oh, that's
fun.
trouble.
Yeah.
That is trouble. Who's hosting?
The birthday boy.
Is it a
lives.
is it a
What's that?
family of repute?
Family of repute.
Well,
Nope.
I always hear ill repute. So I just
Yes.
figure repute would be the good.
Oh, it's good. Yeah. So that yes, it's a family of repute. Of healthy repute. Yes.
Hey, you got a good repute over there. Nice repute.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah,
exciting.
they got it all planned. They're gonna freeze each other's bras, put each other's hands in warm water, and pee on their faces. All the stuff, all that good stuff.
I'm trying to remember what we used to would like sneak out of the house or like I was very into WWF, like pro
Yeah.
wrestling. So
Yeah.
we'd pull out like the in the basement the sofa and the sofa bed and then do wrestling moves on the sofa bed.
Yeah.
But it was one of those old fashioned ones where there's like huge pieces of exposed metal on the outside of it, So people are always gashing their arms or foreheads or whatever.
Oh god, that was so fun. We would turn off all the lights in the basement and we would play hide and go seek in the dark, and it was just so fun. You just curl up in a cabinet and listen to your idiot friend be like, "Guys, come on, are you down here?" It was just so fun.
Were you like
you throw shit at them from across the room where their voice came from?
honestly, this is bad to say because like you're supposed to love going outside and like hide and go seek and playing games like that. But honestly, the most excited I can ever remember is like when there was like just a great video game and you knew there'd be 3 or 4 of you in a basement and you could just play it all night. Like no one can stop you from playing. You'd like turn the sound way down or whatever, but you're like, we're gonna play this game all freaking night. And it was
that's like the happiest, other than school getting canceled for snow. That's the happiest I've ever been, is when just doing that, when you have that night ahead of you.
I can't think of anything better, even now.
It's hilarious. My buddy Tyler Kroll, we would do this gig in Platteville, Wisconsin, and we did it together specifically so that we could just play video games just like that as essentially grown-ups. We were like, whatever the show, who cares? I can't wait to get back to the hotel. And we got Mountain Dew, Cheetos, and we're just sitting on a hotel bed, on the edge of the hotel bed with the Nintendo Mini or whatever it was hooked up to the hotel. And it was just like, it wasn't as good because we were adults, but we have responsibilities. But like, it was like, oh man, we played Mike Tyson and Castlevania and all that shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was
don't you love it when people come up to you and like, what's it like life on the road? You must be like going out all the time, and how do you handle it when you're married and you on the road and there's women and you're like, yeah, you're like, get out of my way, and Mountain Dew is 2 for 1 over here.
Right. Women, what is that? What is that? A new Nintendo game?
I gotta get to Safeway to load up on Cheetos before they close.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Well, that's exciting for your boy there. That's a big milestone.
Yeah.
So you don't think he's gonna call in the middle of the night, want to get picked up?
That's what I said. I was like, oh my god, that's so exciting for him. But then I was like, you never know. You never know, because it's his first one. So he might be like, oh, this is fun. And then when it's, when they start falling asleep, he might be like, I kind of want to be at my house in my bed. This is weird.
Yeah.
Who knows? So next week, stay tuned, folks.
That's funny. I relate to that. I didn't do that as a kid, but like now, if someone was like, for some reason, you have to sleep in somebody's basement in a sleeping bag, and you're like, if I had the opportunity to just go home, I'd be like, yeah, let's go ahead and call the Uber here. Sleep in my own bed. That'd be great. See you guys.
Yeah. Oh man. So all right. So I have a question. This is what over the weekend I had a corporate gig, or like a private corporate gig I got over. Was it, I don't know, through my website or Gig Masters or something. Anyway, And it was one of the worst. It was 5.5 hours away. Now, would
Okay.
you drive or fly? It's on a Saturday night. It's a 9 p.m. show.
I would. Well, is it a big city? 5.5 hours away?
It was oh my god. No, it was not a big not a
Oh,
big
then
city.
I would drive that.
Yeah.
That I would drive. But I would stay
Yeah, I
the
don't think
night.
I
I
even
I would
could.
not drive home after the gig,
Yeah. Okay.
which is what you
I
did. I'm
No,
sure.
I wanted to, but then Erin was like telling me she doesn't want me to, and because I think I had a day. I got up at like 7 and was going to Edie's basketball games. Like I was beat tired, so I did go to sleep, but I set my alarm for 4 and got up and left at 4 in the morning. So I slept for because I went to bed at midnight. I think
Why? Why would you
it's because
ever do
I didn't
that?
want to be like, oh, it's Sunday, and just be like, oh, I got home at I don't know 3. I'd rather. So I got home at like
We had the exact
9,
same. So we had
10.
the exact same experience. I had a show in Bend Saturday night, which is about 3.5 hours away, and
Okay.
then I stayed the night, of course, because I'm not crazy, and it's over a mountain pass, so I don't even know if I could have traversed
Three
it.
and a half is drastically different than I have. That's why
Five?
this weekend I have a Saturday show. It's 3.5 away, and staying it wasn't even a consideration. That's like, oh,
I
I'm
mean,
driving home.
so you do the show. It's like 10 o'clock. You still gotta you gotta go settle up with the guy, whatever. Maybe get in your car by 11. It's like 1, 2, 3. You're not. I mean, you're not home till like 3 in the morning.
Yeah, 2:30 or 3. Yeah, yeah. And then you sleep till what 10, as
So I
opposed to
can't.
what getting up in the morning, and being like, oh god, now I got to do that drive. I don't know,
Can't back
but
you up on this. All
well,
right. So
this is what I
so tell
wanted
me
to
what
tell
you
you.
need. Yeah.
The gig was this is I don't need backup on this. I just wanted to share like it was. I hope they're not. Yeah, they wouldn't be listening. Of course, they're not listening.
Oh, fuck them.
Anyway, I show up. I had been told over email. It's at this, banquet hall, this place that holds weddings, and he's like, yeah, we only have normally we have this many people because it was like the company party. Like, oh, we only have 70 people, and so we're letting the group of people in the room next door come over, so you have a bigger audience.
Oh God.
And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, people that aren't vested in this at all and could give a
Yeah.
shit less than even the employees. But I was like, oh, whatever, sure. So I get there and they're doing trivia night. They have DJs, being like, all right, everybody, whose table got this, whatever. And it's fine. It's like, okay, this will kind of work. It'll suck, but it's kind of a quiet little group. And then they're getting ready for the show. They open up the walls to connect to the other room.
Oh
There's like 3
God.
openings
They
and it's
don't send
open.
them over.
There's a giant screen with a football game on it, and there's a bar in that room. So I was like, "Hey, we gotta can we like have the one that's like off to the side open so they can come through if they want to come to the show, but we got to close those other 2 or it'll be a nightmare." He's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, that's fine," and didn't do it. So I was like, "Okay, I guess I'll go do it." So I went and did it and closed
Yeah.
them. And people are like, "What the hell?" And they just opened them. Like I'd walk away and then they just open them. So I was like, "Oh my god." And then I'm doing the show and like
So you do the show and just with it all open because you're like, I'm not fighting this anymore.
I think he went and shut it before it started, or one of the I don't know,
Yeah.
someone did. One of them was open. It got I don't know, it was like opening and closing during the show. It was just
That's
terrible.
even worse.
But I was up there, less than 5 minutes, and I just kind of mentally the switch flipped, like, oh, okay, this is just you just gotta get through this. There's no
Yeah.
you can't win this. You're
Can't
not gonna
win.
fix it. You can't turn it
Right.
into a better gig. So
Yeah.
I'm just plowing through. And eventually I'm like, you're at a club and someone's like being a dick or like totally annoying other people and being loud or just
Yeah.
not caring. You can call them out and be like, hey, idiot, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. But like when it's a company party, it's hard to do that because you're like, well, I don't want to.
Yeah. It could be the boss or whatever. The
Yeah, it could be
boss's
anyone. It's like, what do you mean?
kid
What are you
or
making fun of me? We hired you to come here. Don't yell at
yeah.
me. But I had to get it. I was like, I mean, people are turning around and looking back there. I mean, it was just brutal. It was
Ugh.
just awful.
But
Oh,
so is part of it like I relate to that. First of all, I know all those feelings of those bad corporate gigs. And that's why like now when I'm a little bit better about like if I get like an offer, I mean, you can just tell from the way they write the description of what the gig is, and you're like, oh, that's going to be really bad. I
yeah.
ask, I just, I'm astronomical now about money. Like I just send it so high because I'm like, I really don't want to do this. I know
I
in my heart I
know.
don't want to do this. But
Yeah.
like there was a high school graduation part. I did one of those, I think last year, maybe the year before, and it was like one of the worst shows of my life. Those high school graduation all night lock in
Yes.
type things.
That you gotta, yeah.
And I
Those
did.
I
I
almost,
remember. I think I did it for like $1,000. I can't remember what I the first
no
time.
way.
I was
No
like,
way.
I think I asked for like $5,000 because I was like, I'm never doing this again. I mean, if they want to pay me $5,000,
Right.
I guess, but I'm
Yeah.
never doing this again. So
Yeah. They could throw
my
darts at my
numbers,
butt cheeks for
yeah.
$5,000. I don't care.
Uh, I, but does that factor into like when you like if I have a bad show, I want to drive home that night. Like
Yeah.
that show I would want to drive home 5.5 hours because I'm so
Yeah.
mad. I just get me out of this town, get me out of this stupid.
Yes.
I hate your freeway, I hate your building, I hate your hotel. Like I hate everything about when I
Yeah.
bomb. I don't like the city. I don't like, you know, the
Yeah.
industry that they're in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh my God. It's so
Um,
weird because I did it and I hated it, and like comics are we're probably harder on ourselves. Well, comics that have been doing it a while are harder on themselves, and newer comics are like the opposite. I'm like, oh man,
yeah.
it went so great when it went awful. But like people came up afterwards and they were like, oh, that was thank you. Like they were trying to make it out like they knew it
Oh,
was
it's
an
the
awful
worst.
setting, and they're like, you did a great show. That was, and like because there's two tables up front that are like trying to listen while everyone else
Yeah.
is, breaking off in discussion groups every premise you bring up. Like, oh my God, I
Yeah.
have a cat too. You have a cat, Susie.
Also, like I would have like it's funny. I probably would have done the exact same thing you did. So I'm only saying this with the benefit of hindsight and then being able to
Mm-hmm.
sit here. But like when they're like, "Hey, we think we're just going to open up the room and let more people into the gig." It's like, "Well, no, not really, because when I bid this out, it's like that's part of it. If I know I'm
Yeah.
doing a show for like 5 different companies, I probably would have asked for more
Yeah.
money, like
Yeah.
so you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a good point. Yeah. I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
Like if you're at a comedy club and they're like, yeah, there's only 10 people here, we're just gonna like let some bark some people in for free. You're like, yeah, whatever, it's gonna make the show better. But
Right.
in that scenario, it's like this is a private show.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, yeah, we've we went across the street, found some people and sleeping in the parking lot. We just figured we'd fill up the room a little bit.
Oh, but it's over. Check. And then what was nice was he was like, yeah, I've got your check there. And
Oh,
here's a bottle of water. So I'm on stage and there's a ledge behind me and I can see my check. So that made it very nice.
oh my
That was
God.
right there.
That's amazing. You know what? That's gonna be my new request when I do these private shows. I'm like, okay, I need a stool, I need a corded microphone, some sort of light
Mm-hmm.
on the stage. I need everyone to know that comedy is going to be happening
Yep.
and that they're going to see comedy that night. So like advertise it or at least tell
Yep.
them. Don't make it a surprise. And I want my check visible from the stage for the entire performance. In fact, I want to endorse it first. I want to endorse
Right.
it.
I
I
want a
want you to
mobile
hand it to me.
deposit.
I won't deposit it, but I just want to look at it and I want to endorse it so that I can immediately put it in my bank account. And I want to see it just to motivate me when I'm
Yeah.
halfway through and I'm thinking about killing myself. I can see that sweet, sweet check.
Yeah, baby. Oh God.
Well, you
Well,
did it.
I'm glad your show went well. And
Yeah, my show was great. Very fulfilling artistically.
yeah.
I didn't do my pillow smothering bit.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. I haven't done the car brakes one yet. Thursday in Woodstock, Illinois is that'll be my artistic have
yeah,
fun, do what I want to do.
there you go.
So
All right, should we get into it?
let's get into it. Let's get into it.
Do you want to go first?
Oh, you know what? I'll go first.
All right, you
Okay.
go first. I feel like I've been going
So
first a lot.
let me just ask you, do you think teleportation will ever exist?
No.
Okay.
Well, in our
I need
lifetimes,
backup that it
no.
will. I'm trying to think. Like this is a backup topic, but it's also a discussion point because like I often think of things we have now and just explaining how they work to people even 60 years ago, like Bluetooth,
Yeah,
FaceTime on your phone.
yeah,
Like, I don't understand how cell phones, work.
right.
You can explain it to me and I'll nod, but I still don't understand how waves, whatever. And so I can only assume that the same will happen. I can't like what's the next thing that could be that I think, well, that's just not even feasibly possible. Teleportation.
Okay, so here's where I'm at. I mean, what do you think we are? Like 5 years away from teleportation? What do you think it is?
No, I mean it'll be a long time. I mean, honestly, I don't think it'll happen. But I'm just saying, from a logic standpoint,
Yeah, from a logic
that's the
standpoint.
next.
That's right. From a
That's my
logical
excuse.
standpoint, teleportation is inevitable.
Right.
Uh,
But okay, let's say you got a phone. Like, try to explain to someone 100 years ago,
right.
FaceTime. Like,
No,
it's
for sure.
impossible. It's impossible. Like, there's no cord, there's no electric. Like, it's not connected to anything but the air. It's ungraspable. I mean, I'm here today, and it's ungraspable.
Can I
to
tell
me.
you something that okay, like I I don't understand how cell phones. Obviously, I don't understand how cell phones work or whatever, but I at least can explain to you yeah, okay, there's like microchips inside of it, and then there's like code written with ones and zeros, and somehow that turns into everything you see on your computer screen and phone or whatever. I can't tell you why or how that, but the one thing I can't even start to comprehend is the wireless chargers.
Yeah.
Like you just set your phone on top of a thing and it never like I I literally have no even beginning concept of how that works.
Well, Andrew, what happens is the atoms wiggle real quick. They magnetically wiggle.
Is that
Now
true?
I don't know. That's how it was
That
vaguely
sounds pretty
explained to me
good.
by someone else. It doesn't make sense. Like, okay, they
Yeah,
wiggle,
they wiggle.
magnets wiggle. What is that? That's not giving it
So
electricity.
if your phone starts to die, can you just shake it until
It
it?
should be. You should be
Yeah.
able to, I would think.
Uh, Here's why I don't think we're headed for teleportation, because like sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, like technology is so amazing, we can do anything. But then also like self-driving cars were supposed to be here like 5 years ago, and it doesn't
Mhm.
seem like they're close.
Aren't they? I thought they were here. I thought they
No,
were.
no, they're crashing into like all these Teslas are crashing into everybody. That's why they're getting sued or something.
Oh, really? I didn't.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So I was way,
Huh.
I think like we go in like spurts, maybe.
But I
But
mean, yeah, maybe not soon, but like
yeah.
at some point, isn't that the an example of a thing? Like, can you think of something besides teleportation that just doesn't seem logical? That
Well, like time travel is probably the classic.
that's true, but yeah, that's true. But
That's
that's
even
very.
harder. That's even harder to wrap your head around, because then you're like, well, if you can time travel, then what, then there's all these repercussions from it. Like you could screw up the timeline, then it gets like so complicated and weird.
That's also different because, or trickier because, like, okay, time travel exists. So let's say Andrew time travels. Well, does the universe just revolve around Andrew because he's controlling where he's go? Like what happened to the rest of us when you go back to 1943?
Well, yeah. What do you mean? You're
It's
not.
this.
You're still there. I'm just gone. I'm in 1943.
Oh,
You ever seen a
okay.
movie?
Yes. A
Uh,
movie.
Back to the Future. I mean, is this
Yeah, that's what I
was
mean.
not
The universe
explained?
revolves around Michael J. Fox. He goes back to the past,
But
and
just
no one else
his
exists.
what?
In
I don't think you saw this movie. No one else exists.
when
His
he's in the
family.
past.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess. So he disappears from the present.
I don't think you're. I don't think you remember the movie. It's okay,
I'm
John.
trying to save myself embarrassment. And I'm like, yeah, no, there's nothing I can say.
No one really remembers the plot of like Back to the Future. It's just like all the you're like, oh yeah, he's playing the guitar, and oh yeah, and then they're on a
What are you talking about?
train.
Now you're wrong. Everyone remembers the plot. He has to make his mom and dad meet.
Okay, but then why did you just acted like everyone disappeared?
Because I forgot that part.
Oh my god, whatever. I forget what we. Oh, so teleportation.
Folks, we are changing the title of this podcast to Two Assholes.
I don't remember a movie. The teleportation thing, I guess it's like difficult for me to wrap my head around. But you're right. In the same way that it would have been someone from like the 1800s would have not been
Yeah.
able to wrap their head around what we're doing right now, right? Like
Right.
you couldn't even explain it to them. So
The
maybe it
only
will
way,
happen. It's
yeah,
inevitable.
the only way I can think of it happening, like, okay, because we are a solid thing, and FaceTime is just, like you said, ones and zeros reproducing what's not really there, but a visual of it. So I think of Willy Wonka, and
Dude,
like, okay,
imagine.
you got to
Yeah,
break us down into particles and reform us.
good point. Willy Wonka did. I was thinking Star Trek with the
Mm-hmm.
with the transporter beams.
Hey, but they don't explain how it works. Willy Wonka, they explain it.
Well, they had the guy in there was always like the one engineer who had to do it, and then they couldn't get a lock. And then like I am, and he like type on his keyboard, I'm trying to get a lock on him, and it was like very. Do you ever watch Star Trek?
Can I tell you, I've never seen a single episode. I mean, I know what it is just from scenes, but I've never seen an episode of any
I was
Star
a
Trek.
big Next Generation guy because that was always on like Thursdays when my mom would be working, and we watched Star Trek: The Next Generation, the Picard
Was that a
era.
show that you was like a continuous like soap opera, or was it like Simpsons where it's like, pick up an episode
It was
and
both. I think there was like it was more like each episode was self-contained, but
mm,
they did have some like
arc?
plot arcs, and then like the finales were always like two-parters or whatever.
Huh. Okay.
But do you think when teleportation is a reality, they'll still charge you for bags? Like you'll get back. Like
Ooh.
how will they make teleportation a nightmare experience? Because every other way to travel sucks. Even like you would have when the Wright brothers invented flight, they would have never imagined how horrible flying is. They would have always assumed it's going to be this amazing thing. So how could
Mhm.
you make how is teleportation going to be a hellish experience in the future? That's
Oh,
what we
that's a
really
good
should be thinking
point.
about.
Yeah. I don't will people need bags? Because you could just go
Well,
teleport back
yeah, but
home
that
and
I
brush
guess
your
like yeah,
teeth.
you're right. If it's like you won't need bags except for the fact that it's probably going to be like crazy expensive.
Yeah.
There'll be like a lot of security to go to the teleportation machine. Not everyone's gonna. You're thinking everyone's gonna have one in their house, or like there's gonna be like an airport, like a teleportation center, and you have to go to the
It's a good
teleportation center.
discussion. It's a good discussion to have. It's a good point. I don't know. Everyone's got their own cell phone. You don't have to go to the library and wait for the FaceTime booth.
Some people do. I took my daughter to the library today,
Yeah.
and I walked in, and they were like, "Are you here for story time?" I was like, "Oh no." I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I guess if they're doing it." And she's like, "Take your tickets." And I had tickets, and you had to like give the ticket to the, and then you go in this back room, and Ginger's excited, and they're shooting bubbles off. It was neat or whatever. So he reads a stupid story and sing the dumb songs, and at one point we're all like, all the adults are there too, and I'm like one of the few dads, a little self-conscious about that. But then like you're all clapping, and the kids aren't doing it because they can't. They're
Yeah.
all like 1 and 2 years old, so they can't do any of this. So I'm clapping and singing the Wiggles song, you know. And at one point, I swear Ginger looked at me and like just looked around, like, "What are you doing?" Like she was like embarrassed
Dad,
for
aren't you
me,
embarrassed?
You're 38 years old. Stop it.
Eh?
Uh, but
You're like a
anyway, as we walked out, I didn't notice it on the way in, but we had to walk. We had to walk by the computer. In every library in the city, there's like
yeah, the business
computer
center.
stations are filled with people. Some are of ill repute. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, great! Here's just this parade of little boys and girls for these creeps looking at internet porn at the library to stare at. This is fantastic."
Yeah,
Not that everyone using library computers are looking at porn,
just most of them.
just a lot of them.
Yeah.
Okay, but
All right.
yeah, teleportation, bring it on. Why
Let's do
not?
it.
Why couldn't they do it? You know?
We should be like, we should team up and just be the Steve Jobs. Or we don't know how it
Yeah,
works, but we'll just hire a bunch of engineers. But you guys make it work and make it sexy.
figure it out, or you're fired. That's what
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
I'd be following you around being like, fuck you, you piece of shit.
you heard them.
Fuck off. Get to work. Your face looks like a butthole. Get to work.
Is there like okay? So there's flying now. That's the fastest way to get anywhere, right? Flying.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a step between teleportation and flight? Is there like a
Jetpack. What about individual jetpacks?
that exists,
Well, not
mass produced?
yeah, what's the word? Not commercial, not yeah, like individual where you can buy it for yourself.
Well, see, that's exactly my point, because there's one where you're like, why wouldn't they have just done that? So it doesn't always work out with technology, because we know what a jetpack is. We've seen it in the movies, and I know that it exists in like real
Red
life.
tape. That's what it is. It's red tape because
Red
they
tape.
can't control,
The government.
terrorists could just fly over into whatever and blow
I'm a little
themselves up.
sick. I'm a little sick of big government suppressing my jetpack business.
You know that you have to get like a pilot's license to fly a drone in certain airspace.
That's hilarious.
And if it's not like if you're doing it like non-recreational, what I don't understand is how they, if a cop walks by, hey, what are you doing? If you're filming a movie, can't you just be like, oh, it's my toy. I'm just flying it recreationally.
Right.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you,
But
but
I
that's
can't imagine
hilarious.
jetpacks like,
Just
they have to.
imagine that flight school, like somebody's there, and they're gonna fly like B-10, B-12 bombers or something one day, and then the guy studying next to him is like, "Yeah, I just want to fly my little toy airplane."
I just want to look at my neighbor's boobs when she's suntan.
we have to go to the same college.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. What do you need backup on?
Okay, so this is more me venting than anything else, but we got like this giant water bill last couple weeks ago. So of course it means we have a leak somewhere, right? I checked, there's no leak in the house. So I had the plumber come out, and sure enough, there's a leak from the water line to the street, so they have to rip up concrete and go down. If they have to find where the leak is happening and then rip up the concrete and then replace the line, it's gonna be like thousands of dollars, all this stuff. So
Is this on you or is this on like the city?
well, okay, it's on me because the city's job ends at the sidewalk where the water main starts. where the meter is.
Oh,
And so
yeah. Okay.
then, by the way, I thought I was looking at the water meter and I was looking at the gas meter when I was first trying to figure out if we had a leak or not. I was like turning off the water and then I was like looking at the meter. I was like, it doesn't seem like it's running. And I was looking at the natural gas meter. That's how stupid I am. But
I'm way behind that. I don't even know how to do what I didn't.
they
Where is
ask you
water
these
meter?
questions when you have like a real professional come over. They ask you questions and it's so emasculating because you're like, I don't know. Please stop asking me. They're like, oh, so where's the shutoff valve for the house? Yeah, man,
Sir,
sir, I thought I made this clear when you came over. Please stop asking me questions.
sir, you have to understand. I've only lived here 9 years. I don't know where the shutoff valve is.
I know that when I turn the knob, you mean on the faucet, I know how to turn that water on and off. I do that every day. But
He
so I
knows he's
called,
a plumber. He knows where he's doing that on purpose.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably the same place it is 98% of the houses you go to, fucking
Yeah,
asshole.
asshole, just trying to make me feel bad.
Yeah.
So then like I go, all right. He gives me these estimates or whatever. They're like all this money
To fix the
to
broken
fix
pipe
to
after he
fix it
found it.
or replace it. He's like, well, if we repair it, it's only this much, but there's no warranty and we can't guarantee it. But if you just replace the whole thing, it's like 3 times as expensive, but you get a 20-year warranty. And it's like, buddy, I don't even know if I'm going to be alive in 20 years. So we're going to go for the repair thing, I think. But my point is, I call my home insurance
Yeah.
because I was like, hey, this is exactly what you're like. Finally, I was like, I pay you all this money.
Gotta cash in.
I'm like, this is the kind of thing normally I don't even think about it. It doesn't even occur to me to call them when something happens. But you're like, yeah, this is it.
And
They're like, don't cover it. They're like, oh yeah, we would cover if water was backing up into your house or if there was like I forget what else, some other water thing, and it did water damage to the house. But for this, you would have had to specifically request coverage. Oh, okay. So I was supposed to know when I'm buying the house, like, hey, just in case this water line that I've never even considered before in my life, just in case that thing breaks, I want that covered. So here's what I need backup on. Home insurance, either cover everything or don't cover anything. Like, I would rather just not have house insurance and just be on my own for whatever happens than the current situation right now. They don't even let you do that, by the way. You like have to have home insurance.
I know. Yeah, they won't
even sell you the house.
They won't give you a loan if you.
Yeah. So like I would rather have nothing than the current arrangement because like I guarantee you, no matter what I call, if there's an earthquake or if there's a flood, like, oh well, actually that flood happened on a Thursday and you didn't specify, that you want.
Yeah.
So just cover everything or cover nothing. That's what I want.
I think.
You know what she said too?
You want what?
She was like, after the repairs are done, you can call up and get it covered. It's like, oh, thanks. So I can pay you
reimburse?
No.
Oh, you can add the coverage.
I can add the coverage and start paying more to cover the thing I know for a fact isn't gonna break.
Right,
because it just got
brand
fixed.
new. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Insurance is.
It's all a scam. Insurance is the biggest scam.
I would feel no guilt if I figured out a way to like do insurance fraud. I would not feel guilty at all.
No, I know. What a great.
I still haven't evened the playing field by doing fraud because
that would be a good
based on.
Someone should do an Ocean's 11 like insurance fraud. You know what I mean? Like a big caper to like just steal from insurance companies. That would be very popular at the box office, I think. Oh, okay. So you're backing me up. I have one more quick thing before we wrap up, but
do you want to say the dollar amount or no?
Yeah, I'll say it's to replace the whole thing is $9,500 to replace the whole water line.
And what's the fix? To
The
fix something.
fix would be like $3,000, but that's where they're like, we don't warranty it, and it could
Yeah.
happen again. It's not likely to happen again, but it could happen again. And then, but to fix it, they don't know. This company didn't know where the leak was, and they're like, we don't do the. Somehow they can tell that there's a leak detection, so they can tell without having to dig up the concrete where the leak is. But they're like, we don't do that. So I'm having another company come out tomorrow. That's $500 just to detect the leak.
So it's a
So,
different kind of company. This is just a company that
well,
detects it.
it's just a different plumbing company that happens to do leak detection.
Oh, okay.
So
I was going to ask, like, if you've had multiple quotes.
yeah, I'm gonna get another bid from these guys because I assume once they detect the leak, they're going to quote me for the repairs, whether it's a total replacement or just repairing the leak. So
yeah,
it'll either be $3,000 or less than that, but most it'll be $3,000 because I have one bid for $3,000 at least. So plus
it's
the
like
500 to find the leak, so
right.
$3,500. But I've already ruled out replacing the whole thing because it's like I'm not gonna. It's one, I just don't have the money, but then two, it's like even if I did like a payment plan or something, this doesn't seem worth it.
That's what that was like. That sounds like our furnace when our furnace went out shortly after we moved in, and it was like, but there was no fix it option. It was like,
Yeah.
well, there was, but it was like, I'm such an idiot. He probably knew I was an idiot, and he was like, "Yeah, watch this," and he convinced me. I mean, it was over $7,000
Yeah.
brand, to get a new furnace.
No, anytime something happens in your house, it's like you better have 10 grand.
Yep.
They just know. They just like no matter what it is, they're like, yeah, it's gonna be like 10. It just always equals 10 grand. Buy a house, just start getting bills for $10,000. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, but this reminded me of what I wanted a little pre-show discussion. So we'll call it a post backup, post topic discussion point.
Yes. Because it's not post show.
Because you were talking about like feeling guilty. So remember how I think we brought this up about self checkout and like Target, and I was like starting to feel guilty, so I stopped. And I really have. I have not stolen from any self checkouts in a long time, so I want some credit for that. I think it was the birth of my child that really made me reconsider.
Sure, that'll do it.
And you're scolding, but
that's when I stopped raping.
Oh my god, good for you.
Wow.
So
I'm no hero.
You're wow. So we went to my brother-in-law and I went to the Blazers game last night. Portland Trail Blazers.
Sure.
NBA
basketball.
NBA franchise. Yeah. Basketball.
And is that with David Robbins? No, that was Spurs. Never mind.
Nope. No. But they were playing the Spurs. Maybe you just knew that subconsciously.
No, I had a Spurs hat and I thought maybe it was a Trailblazers hat when I was little.
No. So playing the Spurs, and we find our seats, and then I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get us, because I bought him the tickets for Christmas, so I'm like, I want to get us a couple beers, So I go up to the concession stand. They have self checkout concessions at the NBA arena at the stadium. So I go and I grab the 2 beers out of the cooler, you know what I mean? And then I'm like, oh, and they have popcorn out there. I was like, oh, all right, let's get a popcorn, And I go to the self checkout thing, and I'm like all set to pay for it, same thing. And I hit the 2 beers, and then I'm like, go to the popcorn, and then it's like souvenir popcorn. It's like, oh, I didn't buy a souvenir popcorn. I don't want to pay the extra $1 for the stupid bucket that I'm not going to ever keep. So I was like, no, I just want the regular, but I couldn't get to regular popcorn. So I was like, screw this. So I just exited out. And just bought the 2 beers and didn't pay for the popcorn. And then this lady, and then they give you a receipt. And then this lady comes and like, oh God, this is going to be humiliating. I'm caught,
Oh, like Costco where they check your receipt?
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, well, of course, it hit me. I was like, well, of course here, they're not going to just let people run up and grab beers and not show their receipt. That's crazy, right?
Right.
She goes, oh yeah, they make me open the beers for you before you leave. So, and she's like, opens the 2 beers, and I just walk out. Free popcorn.
Oh wow.
So you can just go rob. And that, talk about having no guilt. You should never have guilt stealing from a professional sports franchise concession stand, because that
the audacity,
the only ripoff bigger than than insurance.
Yeah, they're like, well, how can we make even more money? Let's not hire people.
I know.
Let's not give people a job to do this. We'll just make people do it themselves.
But haven't they seen this road where this goes when you stop having people checking people out? Like go look at the Targets and the grocery stores that are all self-checkout. They're all disasters, Just have
what do you mean? How so? Like they don't know how to do it.
They're getting robbed all the time.
Oh yeah.
And it attracts an
element.
Haven't
figured out. They have the percentage figured out. Like
they know. I know, but it's just they have
acceptable loss.
The acceptable loss, but they haven't factored into the part where it's like some of these Targets I don't even want to go to anymore because it's just too sad. They're getting robbed so much.
Yeah.
So anyway. All right, that was my post-topic discussion point. But
love it.
Anyway, thanks everybody for listening to the Cavalry. Patreon subscribers get to listen to post-show banner, which we're about to do right now. Plus, we're gonna do a Would You Rather episode at some point. So
that's right. We gotta hammer out that.
Do a little homework here and get that knocked out. I'm going to be in San Diego February, I think it's 17th and 18th, but you can check my website. So if anybody is in San Diego listening to this or has friends, tell them to come see me.
Which room is it?
Mic Drop Comedy Club in the Gold Room.
All right. I will be at Crossroads in Platteville. That's the one I was telling you about where we played video games.
Oh, hell yeah.
It used to be the Arthur House. Now it's Platteville. I'll be with the very funny Dana Ehrman from Milwaukee. And that's the 4th, this coming Saturday. And then next week, February 10th, or following week, Farley, Iowa, and Mr. Brew's Tap House in Menominee Falls that Saturday. All right. JohnnyBeaner.com.
Go see those shows, and thank you everybody for listening to
The Cavalry.